And I often talk about community colleges serving whether it's 18-year-olds or 28-year-olds or 58-year-olds. But coming here, you have high school students, you have 14-year-olds on campus. And I just absolutely love that. For our young people to have a real taste of college and this idea of early college, and start to think they really can be successful in the world of higher education, or maybe they haven't had family members who have done that. Those partnerships are so important.
But right now, there is no place for our students to go. I'm tired of losing my students to the streets. And I'm tired of students going on welfare and students not being able to fend for themselves and students dropping down because they have no place to go.
But we are losing far too many children to the streets, and we know there are no good jobs out there for high school dropouts. None. Students who drop out today are basically condemned to poverty and social failure. There's nothing for them. To push against that as hard as we can. And one of the best ways to do that is to better engage our young people in their own education, help them understand why it's relevant, why it's meaningful, why they need to stay in school and be successful. And the more we're giving young people opportunities to be real leaders, I think there's just absolutely no downside to that. It will help them understand the critical importance of getting a good education and staying in schools. We're thinking through how you put your program down to even the teens and even the middle school years.
What is the department doing to improve our ability to retain and recruit teachers, particularly in high poverty and high minority schools?
I worry a lot about historically underserved communities, whether they're rural or inner city urban, where you have tremendously high teacher turnover. Teaching is a craft, it's an art, it's something that takes years to master. If you're losing teachers after the second, third, or fourth year, the loss of those children is huge. I talked earlier about the discretionary resources we have. In the next 2 weeks or so, we're going to announce a $3.5 billion money for Title I. And a big focus of this is to really make sure that we're recruiting and retaining and attracting the best and brightest to work in underserved communities. And so we really want to reward those great initiatives at the local level that are doing a good job of keeping that great talent and put some money on the table to help them build upon those best practices.
So the kids that are stuck in these schools now that aren't really teaching could actually go to a school where they compete with other schools. I mean, schools that were failing would fail, but the schools that were actually teaching the kids would succeed.
I'm a big fan of public education, and my concern with vouchers is pretty simple. First of all, we look across the data around the country, there have not been huge differentials in outcomes. But the biggest thing for me is when we provide vouchers to the government, we help 1%, or we help 2% of children, and we leave 99, 98% to drown. And I think we have to be much more ambitious than that. If the private sector, if the philanthropy wants to help support children individually using scholarships, I think that's a terrific thing. But I think we can't help 1 or 2% and go home and sleep well at night when the other students aren't being successful. I'm a big believer in choice. I'm a big believer in competition. We talked about one size not fitting everyone. I love to have multiple options for children. But again, we have to be talking about every child, not just a small handful, leaving the rest on their own. I can't do that.